good morning or afternoon, or like I said last week, whatever time of the day that you may be watching this devotional. Um, this morning, and I don't know if you've noticed it, but in the late evening hours these days, you'll often hear pops and bangs and explosions in the background, and Blue, our trusty Australian Shepherd, is very sensitive to noises that he can't pinpoint, doesn't know where they're coming from, and so it's made him pretty nervous about sounds that he doesn't understand, doesn't know where they're coming from. So this morning, about 5 o'clock, as we usually leave on our morning walk, he got outside the deck and looked at me and basically said, "No, not going anywhere." He could hear something in the background that was making him nervous, and so I tried to get him to go one direction or another, and the answer was still no. So we came back up on the deck, and I made my preparations to go, and he came to go on my own walk, and he came over and obviously wanted to go along. And so we went out the front door and leashed him up, and away we went. And then, boy, right in mid-stride, he must have heard a sound that he didn't like, and he did an about face back to the house. And so I had to unclip him and tell him to stay here and take care of the house, and then I left on my own walk. Well, when I came back, the look in his eyes was quite gloomy and dark, and I didn't get to go for a walk and so on. And I thought how parallel that is to us when we allow fear to interrupt our lives in a way that is destructive to us, or preventing us from doing something that we really, really do enjoy. And Blue's fears of the unknown, things he didn't understand. Now I know he's a dog, only a dog, but he had no ability in himself to analyze that those sounds were coming from construction way away, far away, over where they're putting in a new housing development. And he can't reason through that, but we can. And so we want to be careful these days that we aren't allowing fear to dictate our walk with the Lord, things we enjoy, but especially our peace of mind. And I think that's really critical. That's very, very important, because God doesn't want us to live in fear. God doesn't want us to curtail our lives based on fear. Wisdom, certainly. And in these days of the coronavirus, we need to operate on wisdom and stay within guidelines and so on. But at the same time, we don't do that based on fear. We're doing it based on wisdom. And a psalm came to my mind this morning, and I want to read it to you. And I'm not going to read the entire psalm, but just some words. And this is a psalm that is clearly written because of someone being delivered from death, or delivered from a crisis, a very difficult time. And the author of this psalm writes, "I love the Lord." Why? Because he hears my voice and my supplications, because he has inclined his ear to me. Therefore I shall call upon him as long as I live. The evils of death encompassed me, and the terrors of Sheol, or the grave, came upon me. I found distress and sorrow. Then I called upon the name of the Lord. O Lord, I beseech thee, save my life. Gracious is the Lord, and righteous. Yes, our God is compassionate. The Lord preserves the simple. I was brought low, and he saved me. Return to your rest, O my soul, for the Lord has dealt bountifully with you. For thou hast rescued my soul from death, my eyes from tears, my feet from stumbling. I shall walk before the Lord in the land of the living. I believed when I said, I am greatly afflicted. I said in my alarm, all men are liars. What shall I render to the Lord for all his benefits toward me? I shall lift up the cup of salvation and call upon the name of the Lord. Precious in the sight of the Lord is the death of his godly ones. Now, having a deep trust in the Lord and resting in him is not a guarantee that I'm not going to get the COVID-19. What it does mean that I'm not going to allow the fear of getting COVID-19 to control my life. That instead I'm going to lift up the cup of my salvation. That God's blessings in my life far outweigh any of the trials and tribulations this life could bring along, even death. So I don't know what trials you're facing this week. I know it's difficult for all of us. We are tired of wearing masks. We're tired of being quarantined. And I just want to say in that regard, be encouraged about what's going on. The media fills the airwaves with fear and consternation. And it's not their job to, well, it sort of is, but journalism died a long time ago in our country. So they don't see it as their job to give us the absolute facts. And the reality is, even though Arizona is in a real peak and infections are going up, the death rate from those infections is remaining flat. It's not going up in ratio to the infections. And I haven't read anyone trying to figure out why that the death rate isn't increasing commensurate with the increasing infections. But it's not, and it's that way all across the nation. I read an article a few days ago written by the lieutenant governor in Texas, and they are noticing the same thing in Texas, that even though they're spiking, the death rate is remaining level. And so I think we are beginning to make progress with this virus. I think we need to keep maintaining the guidelines that authorities lay out for us, but we don't do so in fear. I think that we're moving along in a good direction. The economy is beginning to. So there were some encouraging things about the economy this morning. But the big thing is, no matter, even if things weren't looking better, we still should not be ruled by fear. It is the Lord that takes care of us. It's the Lord that rescues us out of trouble. Our strength is not in the horse or the shield or the sword or the spear or the gun or victory from our political viewpoint. It really comes from the Lord. We trust in him and we rest in him about what tomorrow holds, what next week holds. And so I trust this week that as we move toward the first Sunday of the month in July, and we move toward celebrating communion together, that it is the worship and joy of the Lord that is the paramount emotion in your life, not fear of what might happen. So God bless you, and I trust that we'll see you, if we can, next Sunday. We still are working. I met with an audiovisual expert from Phoenix yesterday, and he examined the sound booth and our own setup, and he had some suggestions, and so we keep learning and growing, and my brain is totally saturated with learning new technology, and I'm really looking forward to getting everything sorted out so that Sarah and I feel comfortable taking some time off, and I'm beginning to really look forward to taking some time off. So God bless you. Have a great day today and a good time the rest of the week, and may God bless you as we celebrate the 4th of July together. Even in spite of some of the bad things going on in our nation, it's still the greatest nation on earth, and we still celebrate, no matter what. Knocking down statues and all of that I'm a history buff, and I just hate people who aren't celebrating history, because we learn from history. Even the bad stuff we learn from, and we shouldn't be doing away with it. But we live in a grand country. In spite of all of our warts and all the things we've done wrong in the past, it's still a wonderful country. We celebrate the Day of Independence this coming 4th of July. And so God bless you, however you're going to celebrate it. And as you celebrate it, be safe. See you later.